Hi guys, I'm here today to talk to you a little bit about my Field and Stream Eagle Run fishing kayak, the setup I did on it. I wanted to do this video to kind of show everybody what I did with my kayak, and for the guys that are just getting started setting up the gear or want some different system on their kayak. A lot of this come from other YouTubers. I made modifications to fit me personally, and I kind of just wanted to go through and show guys what I did, as I found it extremely helpful to go through YouTube and figure out how to set up my system. So the first thing I want to talk about is my Yak Attack anchor trolley. This is probably my favorite feature for fishing on this boat. It's a lever lock anchor trolley system, which this snaps out of here and it goes back and forth until you lock this, and then it no longer moves. That's a really nice feature, I thought, for me, and fits me personally. As if I'm going to go fishing in small creeks, I can lock that up in there, and it sits up in there. It's supposed to sit up in there. Anyways, it sits up in there. This carabiner clip here, I attached it to it, and I also tied. So basically, I took double back on itself, sewed it together, and then put heat shrink, and that's how I sealed it all up. That's worked out pretty nicely for me so far. This so I can clip the kayak to me and it'll follow me down the stream. That works out pretty well. It's probably, like I said, one of my favorite features on this boat, on this kayak. So the next thing I want to talk to you about is kind of my anchor system setup. I found this on YouTube too. I made some modifications to the one I found though. Basically what it is just your standard 3-pound anchor. It's a collapsible anchor, which I thought was really nice for space on your kayak. Folds out like this and then locks at the bottom to keep it folded out. You tie your 550 cord to the base of the anchor and then zip tie it to the top. That allows you, if you get caught on a log or something like that, you can break that zip tie. Some guys say to notch the zip tie so it'll break a little easier. I haven't done that. I personally haven't had any problems with that so far. And like I said, that works pretty good. For my anchor reel, all I used was 550 cord, like I said, and then a trot line reel, which you can buy at Walmart for like $4. Really like that because it comes pre-drilled with all these holes. So when you're reeling out, you get set where you want it set. You clip into this carabiner here. This carabiner keeps it from unspooling on you, which is really nice. I like that. Keeps it where it's supposed to be. Also, this is my leader to actually inside my kayak. This was what I modified. You can just tie it directly to here, but this carabiner, really helpful. When I want to reel in my anchor system, I find that if I have this tied on here, which I did the first couple times, it gets in the way. The leader gets in the way, gets tangled up, just makes it a hassle. So basically, I cut a 6-inch pool noodle to float, and it will float this trot line reel or anchor reel, whatever you want to call it. And it's a pretty nice system. I just doubled it through there. It's pretty easy to set up with a pool noodle. Basically, this end goes in the water. Your tag end comes up underneath, and then you'll tie it to the cleat. Now that's important for safety reasons, or if I hook into a big fish and I want to get off before it pulls me excessively, I want to be free of the anchor. Also for wakes and things like that, you want to be able to break away. This is important, especially on an anchor trolley system, I thought. If you have your anchor up here, you're not going to be able to release it if you're tied directly to this or clipped directly to this. You're just not going to be able to break free. This allows me to have it strung out, tied to the cleat, break free, and that'll slide back through that ring there. So that's a pretty nice feature, a pretty important feature, I thought. And then also to be detachable from the reel, I thought was real important and really nice. So it stays out of your way. when you're reeling in your anchor and you want to be able to move quickly. Next feature on this kayak, I did not install these, but they are awesome. Really like them. Flush mounts on both sides for rod holders. Really like that. I've been debating on putting on ram flush mount, wedge flush mounts, so I can flex my reels back. That's something I've been debating about. If you have experience with that, I'd sure appreciate any comments or any input on those. The next thing I'd like to talk about, and this comes with the paddle holder on either side. So depending on which side you set your trolley to, this just keeps your paddle out of your way while you're fishing. This is exactly how I set it up when I'm on the water. It keeps the paddle out of my way. When I am on the water, I really like that feature. It just keeps stuff out of the way when I'm fishing. It's really nice. The next thing I want to talk to you a little bit about is my fish finder. This is a Garmin Echo. I really like it, the Striker 4. And what I like about it is it doesn't have the maps on it, but it does set waypoints, so I can set different checkpoints and things like that. I do like that a lot. I use the ram mounts for it. That works really well. I can flex it wherever I want to go with it. Works out great. This little cup holder on the Field & Stream, I found it to be useless. It doesn't really hold a cup, but it is the perfect size for a 2.5-inch based ram, the circular base. I really like that on it. The next thing with the ram mount, the transducer arm is also by Ram, and this feature right here is probably my favorite feature for this system, because I don't have to drill through my boat. So there's nothing besides these 2 screws for my transducer making a hole in my kayak. Really like that about it. When I'm going up to the dock or to the boat ramp, I can get it up so it's not beating up my transducer. I like that a lot, how that works, and it works great. It's easy to use when inside the kayak. It's just a good system. And the next thing I'm going to talk about is the power cords and what I did with that and how I set up my battery box on this system. So what I did is I took these little command strips, little clips. You can buy them at Walmart, pretty cheap. And I ran through right by the base up here with a grommet. I put a grommet in there to kind of protect that wire and make it look a little nicer. And then I took that wire and I ran it underneath the cockpit, and that's where those clips come in. I have one up here and then one back here, which I currently don't have the wire hooked into it. But something about those clips that I want to let you know, I tried to use the adhesive strips that come with them, and I've not had the best luck there. I'm trying to stay away from drilling holes in my kayak, and I could put holes up here and just zip tie it, and that would probably work just as well. But I'm trying to stay away from putting any more holes in my kayak than I absolutely have to. So basically it runs all the way back to my battery box. My battery box fits perfectly between those flush mount rod holders. Just perfect. That space really wasn't getting utilized, but this is a great spot for that. All I used was a Plano tackle box. I drilled a hole here. I put another grommet to kind of protect the wire and also make it look a little nicer. This Plano box in particular has a weather rubber gasket to keep kind of moisture out of there. The battery inside is awesome. I can go multiple days of fishing on this little battery for that fish finder. I put this foam in here just to kind of keep the battery from rattling around. I didn't have an issue with that before, but I just added that as a just in case feature and to kind of make that battery sit in there a little nicer. That works pretty well. Another thing I want to show you too is down inside this kayak I added Velcro straps just to keep the battery box from moving around. Hasn't really been an issue, works real great. And it keeps the battery box quiet, so it just sits down in there, works out pretty good. And I mean, it's a perfect fit for getting it back in there. So that's kind of my setup and what I have going on with my kayak. I hope that you all find this video useful, especially if you're going to start setting up or looking to get into kayak fishing. Probably the most helpful thing I found there are all the videos that are on YouTube that other guys have posted. And I wanted to do this just to kind of give back to the guys that helped me get set up on my kayak. So I hope that you all find this useful and that you are able to get out on the water soon. Thank you for watching.